happy to be back on Cinema Synopsis channel. And I am your host Libby, and today, we're going to recap the Indian drama, JHUND. The film begins in an Indian slum where we meet Ankush, a teen who spends his life exploring the slums with friends. He is known as Dawn by his peers, who see him as their leader. Dawn leaves his home with his pals to ride bikes into the city, where they engage in criminal activity, including chain snatching and phone theft. The money they earn from performing all of this is then utilized to purchase food and drugs. One evening, a married couple begins to argue next to Dawn and his friends as they are eating on the street. Due to her husband's violent conduct, the woman Razia decides to leave the house with her 3 girls, but her husband pursues her and yells at her. When Dawn becomes aware of this, he intervenes to defend Razia and requests the husband to leave her alone. The next day, Dawn and his friends are smoking marijuana while sitting on a railroad track. Dawn observes Sambhya, who is staring at him. After a long period of staring, Dawn becomes furious and confronts him. Sambhya's collar is grabbed. The owner of a garage, Sambhya, quickly calls his men and commands Dawn to release go of his collar. Dawn departs the area after striking a man from Zambia. When Vijay, an aging football coach, saw what was happening, he stopped Sambhya. After separating Dawn and Sambhya, Vijay asks them why they were fighting. Dawn responds that Sambhya was gazing at him and that's why he slapped Sambhya's man. Vijay is alarmed and dismisses the two of them. Vijay notices how difficult life is for them as they leave the ghetto. After that, Vijay goes back to his house, which is next to the slum. Vijay enjoys giving back to the community and devotes all of his earnings to the welfare of those in need. His son doesn't seem to be enjoying his social work, because he isn't earning enough pocket money as a result. The following day, as Vijay arrives at the campus, he sees the football team relaxing during practice. As soon as their new coach shows up, Vijay recognizes that he will soon be replaced. Meanwhile, Dawn and his buddies are selling the stolen mobile phones in order to survive. The lads head to the ground and start playing football with a huge plastic jar as it starts to pour. They all enjoy playing with the jar and even manage to demonstrate some incredible football abilities while doing so. Unexpectedly, Vijay arrives there as well. When he sees them playing, he is quite amazed by their abilities and style of play, but he also feels bad for them because they lack a football. The children are not present when Vijay comes to the slums ground with a football in the following scene. Sambhya's garage is being attacked and destroyed by Dawn and his cronies in the meantime. Unfortunately for them, police officers show up and imprison them. However, one family friend helps and bails them out. The following day, Vijay comes to the ghetto with a football, and this time he sees Dawn and his buddies enjoying a game of cards. When they agree to play football for a half hour, Vijay talks to them and offers them money. The group accepts the suggestion and prepares for the game, because the slum dwellers are readily seduced by the money. Then Vijay gives them the football so they may play whatever they want. After the game, Vijay gives them the money as promised and instructs them to repeat the process the next day. Vijay then begins to frequently visit the slum and pays Dawn and his group of friends to play by bringing them money. He gradually begins explaining the fundamentals of football to them and encourages team play. The kids get along exceptionally well with Vijay due to his kind demeanor, and they adopt him as their guardian. Laxman, however, the son of Vijay, is tired of his father's social work and wishes to continue his studies overseas in spite of his mother's advice. Later on, we learn that Vijay's goal was to teach the kids the habit of playing football without money. Later that evening, Vijay stops by the slum field and observes Don and his friends playing football. He gathers them after the game and requests that they play against his college squad. In the following scene, Vijay approaches the college president and asks him to arrange a friendly football game between his school squad and the slums team. They argue for quite some time. They go over the pros and cons. They debated for a very long time, with neither side budging their opinion on the match. The president initially rejects this idea, as the slum kids are unruly and may cause havoc on the campus. However, he agrees when Vijay begs him to organize the match as a retirement present for him. After they both agreed to terms, the next thing to do was set the date and time of the match. They agreed to play the next day. Don and his friends walk into the field with eccentric attire and sunglasses. They ignore Vijay when he approaches them and inquires about their attire. Don was staring at a stunning woman named Bhawana, who also plays for the college team. The football game starts shortly, and within the first few minutes, the team from the slums concedes a goal. The college team was more disciplined and played with great skill and teamwork. Don and his colleagues appear to be ill-prepared and unorganized. The college squad continues to play effectively and scores 5 goals in the first half. Don appears to be more concerned with pleasing Bhawana than with taking the game seriously. Soon the first half ends, and Vijay approaches Don and the team to speak with them. He reprimands the team for playing so carelessly. Following some reprimands from Vijay, the players of the slum football team take their gameplay seriously and begin removing all of their extra gear. Now that everyone is prepared, they can all engage in some old-fashioned slum-style barefoot play. Later, as the second half gets underway, the slum squad plays better. Dawn scores the opening goal for the slum team, which causes the game's momentum. They play better as the second half progresses. Vijay begins to believe in the team again and supports them. The slum squad scores goals by dodging the college team members. The slum squad has managed to tie their opponent's score with barely minutes left in the game. After a draw in the game, a shootout will now be used to determine the winner. The college team scores its first 2 goals in the shootout, while the slum team is unable to score. Surprisingly, the slum team rallies and ties the score once more in the following 2 penalty kicks. With just their final shot left, the goalie of the slum team blocks the shot, while the player of the slum team's shot successfully finds the back of the net to give the slum team the victory. The slum team starts celebrating their victory, as Vijay expresses his genuine pride in them. Following the game, Vijay invites the entire slum football squad to his house and starts interviewing them about their lives. All of the players share their heartbreaking tales, which include losing their parents when they were young, developing a heroin addiction, and never having the opportunity to possess their own home. Don immediately begins to talk about himself, and says that he is not as unique as anyone else. Everyone acknowledges that they stopped engaging in their unlawful activities and started living their lives because of football. Their tales leave Vijay speechless and moved, and he decides to keep aiding them. The next day, a businessman is operating his businesses on the training ground. Vijay intervenes when the slum kids have an issue and serves the businessman a legal notice. When the businessman tries to intimidate Vijay, the entire slum population rallies and begins removing his belongings. The slum kids are now starting to appreciate football more. Vijay coaches them frequently, and one day one of the slum's players recommends he arrange a football tournament for all the slum kids around the nation. The concept appeals to Vijay as well, so he chooses to consider it. On the day of Vijay's planned retirement, the new football team coach shows up, forcing him to retire. Following this, Vijay receives distressing news that Yogesh, one of their players from the ghetto, had perished while attempting to steal coal from the running train. Both Vijay and the residents of the slum are shocked by the information. Next, before Sambia and his men catch Dawn, Dawn goes to collect money from the individual to whom he sold the stolen cell phone. Sambia then starts bullying Dawn and demands an apology. Dawn, however, declines to comply and flees by slamming a bottle into Sambia's head. The next scene shows Vijay pleading with the administrator of the nearby campus to allow him to use the facility to host a national slum football championship. On behalf of the residents of the slum, Vijay assumes responsibility and convinces the college president. Soon after, they begin handing out flyers about the competition throughout the city and online to the entire nation. People from all over the nation express interest in the competition and sign up. Later that evening, when Vijay and the slum kids are setting up lodging for the other football teams, Vijay urges Don to turn himself into the police. When Don complies with the request, the police beat him and sentence him to 3 months of jail. In the meantime, the tournament had gained popularity across the nation. Vijay notices a lot of talented athletes from other teams throughout the tournament. Sadly, because every team is from a slum, they litter the field and make the college field appear to be a wasteland. The college president is upset by this and confronts Vijay to put an end to the competition. When Vijay goes back to the football field at night, he is surprised to see the slum kids cleaning the field and promising to keep it clean during the competition. Following this, the competition proceeds without incident. Unbeknownst to Vijay, Laxman has also returned from abroad and is now ready to assist his father. The college head commends Vijay for his fine work and wishes him luck for the future during the closing ceremony. In the following scene, Laxman approaches his father and informs him that Georgia has invited them to take part in the World Cup tournament for homeless football. Vijay is overjoyed to learn this, and he immediately begins to alert the players from all around the nation. Laxman takes his father to meet a minister, while assisting his father in finding funding for the football team. Vijay, however, decides against seeking assistance from anyone and heads back home. The slum children, however, run into several issues while trying to get their passports in order to play in the international football competition. Dawn also had trouble getting his registered crimes cleared up by the police station. Unfortunately, the police officers told him that his matter had already been heard in court and declined to assist him. Following that, Vijay and the others go to court to fight to obtain Dawn his passport. The defense attorney warns the judge that the slum team might commit crimes abroad. Then Vijay tells the judge how football has affected their lives and how they are struggling to turn their lives around. He also says that the judge ought to recognize their efforts and assist them in beginning anew. Fortunately, the judge pays attention to Vijay and grants permission for his team to travel abroad. In the last scene, Vijay arrives at the airport with his Indian slum football squad, prepared to play for India in a global football competition. The film finally comes to an end with Vijay and his squad taking off in a jet for an unexpected football competition. JHUND is based on the life of Vijay Barse, who founded the non-profit organization Slum Soccer.